Independence Day, everyone. You're watching Beyond 100 Days with Nifemi Oguntoye. As Nigeria marks its 64th anniversary, President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerians to be patient with his administration as better days lie ahead. He promised more interventions to revamp the economy as the country is winning the war on banditry.
Bola Tinubu's nationwide broadcast begins with an acknowledgement of the prevailing economic hardship in the country and an assurance that his administration is aware and working to alleviate the sufferings.
Once again, I plead for your patience as the reforms we are implementing show positive signs, and we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
But again, the president also admits that 64 years after independence, the journey of nationhood has recorded modest successes.
We have learned to embrace our diversity and manage our differences better as we continue to work towards engendering a more perfect union.
President Bola Tinubu says the economy is undergoing the necessary reforms and retooling to serve Nigeria better and more sustainably.
If we do not correct the physical misalignment that led to the current economic downturn, our country will face an uncertain future and the peril of unimaginable consequences.
And some hours after that broadcast, President Tinubu hosted some dignitaries at the presidential villa for Guard of Honor parade, cutting of anniversary cake, which is symbolic to our national development. We'll bring you details of that subsequently, but still talking independence, presiding bishop of the Redeemed Evangelical Mission, Bishop Michael Okonkwo, speaks on the Nigeria of his dream and what to be done to make it better.
Now we have joining us to discuss Nigeria's 64, one of Nigeria's most celebrated Pentecostal preacher, Bishop Mike Okonkwo. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
Now, sir, at 64, what do you think? Do you think Nigeria has reached its full potential?
Of course not. There are lots of things yet to be attained. I think we are just, we've not really scratched the potentials of this country. We've not scratched it at all. And it's something really very unfortunate, given the endowment, God's endowment resources over this nation. Nigeria is a nation that is greatly endowed. Human resources, material, and even economic resources. We have it, call it whatever. We have it in this country. And why I make bold to say that is as a result of our different people in our, the people who are operating in different parts of the world, holding their own in other nations. Yeah. That shows you that Nigeria is a great country. So we've not really scratched what God intends for us to be as a nation.
I'm sure growing up you had a vision of the kind of Nigeria you would want to see. Does that dream come true for you?
In fact, it's a far cry from the dream we had. And for instance, if I must tell you that there are, when we were growing up, you were not afraid to live anywhere in the country. You live, in fact, like I've said it in many fora, I've lived most of my life in the western part of Nigeria. I was in my teens when I lived in Offa, from where I gained entrance exam into secondary school, Mayfly, Kenneth, and all that. And there was I wasn't frightened going anywhere in the country. But now it's you don't want to go everywhere because you are just watching your back. You see it, and the issue of the ethnic division that we now see in the country was not there. I mean, take for instance, where we lived in Lagos here at Brickfield Road, Butemeta, number 60 precisely, was owned by an Ijebu man. His relationship with my father was just like this. There was no difference. No one was able to say this is different from this or that. We live in the same compound. And when we had a very short movement from Lagos, it's very short, just about a year or so from Lagos to another, to the east, we still came back to the same compound. That's to show you the type of relationship we had. So, but now is a totally different ballgame. A lot of things have changed.
You talked about then you weren't scared of moving from one place to the other.
Yeah.
What do you think can be done to address such insecurity, the one you've mentioned, so that people can move freely and not be scared, the way you put it?
First is, you know, a lot of things contributed to the insecurity, as we can see. So to provide solution is that the government, in fact, I even find it difficult to understand why we are finding it difficult to deal with the insecurity in the country. Why do I say so? It's because we live in a technology age. We are, you know, the technology is there to be able to detect anything. It's easier now, unlike that time, to be able to detect things, even though crime was not as high as it is today. So I think that the government should be intentional and strategic when it comes to the issue of security, because when people are not secured, a lot of things go wrong. There will be no development, there will be no progress in a thing. So the government has to be really intentional, strategic, and both and deliberate concerning it, and with the intention of really eradicating insecurity. Get whatever it takes to be able to identify those who are behind all these things. I mean, to think that we are living in a nation where we are now paying ransom to live. I read in the news the other day that how much billion that have been spent within a year by different governments and all that thing in order to ransom. I mean, what type of country is that? Why are we paying people who are making life difficult for the citizens? So I think that the government should do more than just calling for committees and other things, because I don't believe we have the best. I think we have the best of men when it comes to people in the military, people in. We have the best of. We helped other nations in their countries, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and all this in Cote d'Ivoire. Why is it difficult for us to be able to deal with our issues here? So I think that people should come out of the closet and be sincere and honest to be able to deal with the insecurity in the country.
Bishop